Hi guys, Kirk here with Kirk Giordano Plastering. Today we're going to lath the entire perimeter of this house. It goes all the way around, all four sides. I'm going to show you some details that we don't come across too often. Say like where you have existing stairs. Now they broke out everything here, the contractor, so that we can slide our paper here. Generally when you're doing wall to concrete, you would place a piece of flashing in there. Say like, if this were new, a piece of flashing would come here and I would counter this with a drip screen. It's not the prettiest thing when you counter it because you can see it. However, with existing, we don't have to go that route. We can do paper, but I don't like to use paper on something that's in back of concrete. So what I'm doing is I just brought over some grease, and my son is under the house, Dan. He's going to grab it and basically he's going to pull it around underneath. Then I'm going to counter this grease membrane with the paper. The paper is going to go down here also and go underneath this paper. Real important. We're doing the breakout also as far as to give a good tie-in. Now what the city of Alameda likes is 6 inches. We don't always have that luxury to give 6 inches. If we can get 2, a lot of times I'm happy. But right here we're getting pretty good paper. We're using this Bosch Bulldog. It breaks it out real nice. I'll show you another thing on the other side. All right guys, another tip. If you have build outs like this where the columns are decorative. Say for example, this fella, he's in another city that did the construction of this. I'm in Alameda, we're working in Alameda. I don't have far to go. But see, I'm using this as a straight edge. Now you see how it lines up with the bottom of my screen here. That's what we want. Here, where we have the column, notice that I have an inch right here, or 3/4 of an inch. They didn't know that you have to put a piece of wood here or here. So I'm close by the house. There's a few more of these. I'm going to run to my house and get some pressure treated pieces of plywood, just tack them on there. Then my screen will actually counter that around because everything has got to be true and plumb and level. All right guys, I've placed a couple screens here. Now what Dan and I are doing is we're lifting it up and I'm using this one as a guide. I use my finger here to go down 1 solid inch. I'll touch it, I'll pull the screen down. I've been doing this system for about 28 years where I use my finger here, and that gives me a straight edge. And again, we want to be below this wood here. We got to be below it, that way water doesn't get in here and swell it up, and it gives us something to stop to. Quick tip guys, you've got water pipes or any pipe, stick something in it because you don't want stucco in there, you don't want dirt and rocks. We're going to continue going all the way around here. What I do is I just put a couple of staples here and there. Dan, grab that corner please, and we're going to just like that. Lift it up. Now I'm going to go to the end there. I did a couple of these. And we're going to start paper in this wall. We're going to bring our paper under this paper here. Alright guys, I'll show you a technique on how I do the paper. Generally I'll put a couple staples in one end. I'll hold it. Then I'll come about all 2 to 3 inches below where I've actually got to go under. Now, keep in mind too, see these are studs. I marked it with a crayon. You could use a crayon, you could use a pencil, whatever you do, you want to mark the studs because when you you attach the wire, you need to be in the studs, not in the field. You can go in the field, but you mainly want to go in the studs. Brand new blade. Every job I always put a brand new blade so I'm not fighting the paper. Now, here's a technique I'll show you guys. Just for the sake of explanation, I will cut it right here. What I'll generally do is, once this paper's up right here, then I'll cut some pieces, say like, the longer you cut, say if this is a 3-foot or 4-foot section, it's harder to fish it in here, so I'll usually go about 1.5 feet. And what I'll do is I'll work my way underneath it. This is pretty time-consuming stuff right here. You just got to fish it under, fish it under. You want to go as high as you can. Once you're fishing it under, if it allow you to go till you hit the next nail, then that's fine. But right there, I'm hitting nails. So I can't go any further. I'll put a couple staples there. Then I'll repeat that process the entire job. So I take 2 layers. Now I'm going to fish it here underneath the existing paper. If it's not underneath, then we're not watertight. So here. This is spot glued together to hold it. 2 layers. And it does take a bit of practice, and it takes some time. A lot of obstacles. The paper might be in the way. The nails might be pushing the paper down. The object is to get it in there underneath the existing. However long it takes, that's what you have to do. Now, I like to fish it. I'll go back and forth and crisscross it, fish it under the existing. And if you use smaller pieces, that's okay, but you have to overlap. See my overlap right here, then I like my overlaps to be at least 6 inches on my verticals. So after I have a piece right there, then I'll fish another one in. Get rid of all the clinkers on the paper. And you just go back and forth. You fish it up until it hits a nail. It will hit a nail up there because there's lots of nails in there. Once you got that, see, I'm going to repeat this the entire wall. We're just going to keep fishing paper up, and notice I cut it on the drip screen. No need, don't hit with your hammer tacker right here. This is a 3-inch flange, you'll break these. So I'm above my drip screen. Once I got this entire wall, then we're going to put the wire down. We're going to put the 17 gauge wire on and fasten it with the staples also. Alright guys, I could set my wire on the screen, or I could set it under here, but if I set it on the screen, then it's easier for me to cut the top out. I've got a little template. It's a staples on the bottom, which is holding everything in place. Now I'm just going to notch this guy out right here. Mighty simple, but time consuming. We'll pull this out of here. And earlier I said you want to mark your studs. So now that the studs are marked, I know where I'm going to staple. And I always overlap this wire. Overlap it, that way we don't get a perimeter crack. Here. And I'm using a gun. Some folks use furry nails. That's for folks who don't want to spend all the money for the guns, but the wire itself first. Real important. Wear some kind of safety glasses, cheap glasses, good glasses, doesn't matter. I've stapled a wall once and I had steel straps and I hit it hit the wall, hit me in the cheek. I looked like I got shot, so keep that in mind. Last thing, I'm going to show you that front where we started off. We're kind of multitasking as usual. We're running all over the place, so let me get back to this. Okay guys, I want to finish what I started explaining earlier. I had to run home and get a piece of plywood. Fortunately, I had a lot of 3/4, half-inch, all kinds at my house. Underneath this stucco is 3/4 wood, so I got to go with 3/4. And what I'm doing is I'm putting my screed behind their paper, getting the area where I want it, popping those, and this guy here has got to align with this one here. I don't need to put a corner piece here because it's just going to be in the way. When I do a corner 8, it'll line all these up. So this one is going to line up right with this guy here. 2 staples, 1, 2. And then when I finish busting this out and put my corners on, this will all align. But you notice now how this screed here jots in. That way, when I'm done, say I'll take this level here. Now that lines up. That lines up. This lines up. Kind of petty, but you gotta line up everything to be true and plumb. Well guys, change of plans. Over here in the front, I couldn't get this grace down below. Jay was underneath and I was trying to fish it to him. There's a piece of wood here. We tried getting it out, finally crawled under there and found out it's not a piece of wood. It's a piece of plywood that they rebuilt this porch with. The plywood hits the wall. However, I had that very heavy gauge, this right here, it's like a 1x3. So what I did was I climbed under there and I just pounded it for 5 minutes. So now I've got my seal protected. On the other side underneath here, that's what's important. I gotta protect this plywood. So now what I'm gonna do is put the grace on here, overlap this, and improvise. Every once in a while you gotta be able to improvise with what we do. Anyhow, that's my last tip on this, then we'll show you the completion when we're with it. Okay guys, we're complete. We'll give you a little tour. We went around the rear, did this south side here. You come this way, granted you can see what we did here. Here, this front porch, we had a real challenge with it. I hate to have to do this sometimes, but we took photographs. I called the contractor who called the homeowner. We explained there's nothing left on the porch. Our paper goes up, way up here. The wood is gone. So I explained to him, what do you want us to do? You want to rebuild this porch? They said no. So we put it together best we can. What they did here was they bent the wire around. So the arches and everything, the wire's bent around, which creates leaks. Never bend your wire around. We are only as good as what we have to work with. So anyhow, we got corners here. We got this side here. And lastly, the last side of the house. And like with every lath job, we always fuse all the windows, doors, vents, you name it, pipes. We always hit it with Sikaflex polyurethane caulking. Anyhow, folks, thank you guys for watching, and as usual, we'll see you guys on the next one.